What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, in anticipation for tonight's D23 Brazil, where Marvel Studios is expected to have a live presentation, we will of course bring you coverage of that. And if there's any new trailers, like the rumored second trailer for Captain America Brave New World, we'll do an Easter egg breakdown as well. Well, in anticipation of that event, an international editorial has actually released a brand new article talking directly to Kevin Feige with a ton of reveals for what's going on with characters like Blade and the X-Men in the MCU, and even talks about Miles Morales' live action introduction. We're breaking down all of the questions they asked him, what he said, and while he did keep his answers short, he didn't skirt any of them. He talked about them in context of what they used to do with the Infinity Saga and what their brand new MO is now for the Multiverse Saga. We're breaking it all down, the latest huge reveals coming from none other than Marvel Studios President Kevin Feige, and what to expect with upcoming characters like Blade and X-Men. But first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, trailers, and reviews to the occasional industry insider report and everything in between. So if that sort of thing's for you, hit the sub button, leave a comment down below. That will automatically enter you to win our ongoing PS5 giveaway, which is next month for the finale of What If. Again, all you got to do is be a sub, leave a comment. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, again, for context, this was an interview with Kevin Feige with Omelette.com. The entire article is in Portuguese, so you have to translate it, but we're just going to run down the list of questions they asked him point blank, and I really love their style because one of the first questions is, what's happening with Blade, and will the movie ever actually get released? And this is what Kevin Feige said, quote, "We're committed to Blade. We love the character. We love Mahershala Ali's take on the character. And rest assured, whenever we change direction with a project, or we're still figuring out how it fits into our schedule, we let the audience know. You're all up to speed on what's happening, but I can tell you that the character will indeed come to the MCU." Now, on one hand, this quote sort of confirms the news we were hearing from about 2 months ago when industry insider Alex Perez said simply that Blade doesn't fit into the Multiverse Saga, so they're just going to delay it and focus on it afterwards. On the other hand, we just heard from trusted industry insider Daniel RPK that this movie is moving forward and might actually film next year. So take Kevin Feige's quote however you want, but it seems very genuine, and it also seems to imply they haven't quite worked out where and how he'll show up, but confirms that Mahershala Ali's not going anywhere, and we will eventually get Blade in the MCU. Now, the next one is a little tricky because they're asking him about renewals in the MCU, but it's not clear whether they're talking about bringing back old series like they did with X-Men 97 or the Netflix Daredevil show, or whether they meant renewing series that originated on Disney Plus like Ms. Marvel, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, or the most recent Agatha All Along. And whether or not the exact translation of the question came across, this is what Kevin Feige said. "We're going to get more renewals. That starts with Daredevil Born Again. We're really excited to premiere the first season next year, and then we'll be filming a second season." So he confirms a second season of Daredevil 2. It shows that we like the idea of developing shows for multiple seasons. After all, that's one of the coolest things about television. So I'm assuming this does work backwards retrospectively, and so the reports of Moon Knight Season 2 or Hawkeye Season 2 or even a second season of Agatha All Along are in the cards, or at least being considered. He was then asked about the X-Men coming to the live-action MCU, and man, his answer is extremely interesting. This is what he had to say, quote, "When we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was a matter of getting to the grand finale of our narrative and then having to start all over again after that. This time, heading into Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story is going to be up until then and after that. The X-Men are an important part of that future." Now, we will actually break this down in a future video because I think that quote requires a lot more attention than we're going to give it now in this quick rundown. We have other questions to get to, but I think it's extremely telling twofold. Number one, that whatever X-Men plans they have for Secret Wars are going to be comprised of the older Fox X-Men and not the new narrative going forward in the MCU. But that number two, they are more prepared for Avengers Secret Wars and the Mutant Saga to come than they were coming out of the Infinity Saga into the Multiverse Saga. And hopefully, fingers crossed, the big takeaway here is they can avoid some of the major potholes and setbacks that plagued Phase 4 and Phase 5, where it was pretty obvious they didn't have a clear direction, and that's why we didn't see repetition of important characters that'll go on to make our Avengers, like Shang-Chi never having shown up in the MCU and since his first appearance, and B, going wide, introducing so many characters, even one-offs and post-credit scenes, that really there's no connective tissue at all. These are two major things they have to address, and if they could throw a quarterback or two in the mix, like a Tony Stark or a Steve Rogers, that would have really helped. That's why I keep referencing Shang-Chi, and as I've said in the past, it was probably T'Challa that was supposed to do that, but rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, they should have pivoted into something different. They didn't, and now hopefully the plan that they've got will make that transition from Secret Wars to the Mutant Saga and the introduction of the X-Men a lot more cleaner. Now this next question was kind of curious only because certainly the person asking it has to know this is more of a Sony question than it is a Kevin Feige question, but with Spider-Man 4 looming on the horizon and the script being written now, maybe he thought he could get some details out of him. They asked him about a live-action Miles Morales introduction, and this is what Kevin Feige said. Quote, "Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse movie, which is in production. I hope that shortly after that, he can enter the MCU in live action." Now I know there were some rumors that Beyond the Spider-Verse had been delayed indefinitely, but actually the movie's creators and producers came out to say that that wasn't true, and if the movie could find a release date next year in 2025, then it would hold up to Kevin Feige's quote about him coming in shortly after that, which would be Spider-Man 4, although I wouldn't hold my breath for that, only because they have so many characters that they need to work through, but keep in mind, Miles Morales was a part of the 2015 Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars run, so they could be looking to do the same thing as an introduction for that character. He was then asked about Deadpool and Wolverine, as we had heard not only would Hugh Jackman stick around for Avengers Secret Wars after saying this was his last outing, but that also he might stick around as Wolverine into the future of that mutant saga, and this is what Kevin Feige jokingly responded. "The plans with Deadpool and Wolverine will always be the same. We're always wondering, where can we fit them in, and how quickly," he joked. Now joking aside, Kevin Feige's no fool, neither is Marvel Studios. Deadpool and Wolverine is by far the best performing project outside of Spider-Man No Way Home for obvious reasons, and during the multiverse saga, they're going to include those characters as much as they can. I would anticipate we might actually see them in Avengers 5, because if you remember, the Russos loved the idea of working with Wolverine and wish they had had him during the Infinity Saga. Well, now they do, and they have Hugh Jackman. You got to imagine that that's one of the first things on their list is get him involved in the mix and be a part of the film. That's something they've been looking to do and for quite some time. But you guys let me know all your thoughts down below with your reaction to any and all of this. We will have a chance to examine some of these quotes further as news comes up about Blade and the X-Men, etc. But I'm all ears as always, and again, keep it tuned here at the channel for any breakdowns for trailers tonight and or the presentation itself. We will be bringing you coverage as soon as I can get it up. All right, quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. For the full breakdown and Easter egg video for the double episode finale of Agatha All Along, we announced a brand new PS5 winner, and there will be another one in just a couple of months in December when What If drops. Basically, we give one away for every TV show and movie. Next year, there's going to be a ton. We're also going to do some giveaways in December for the holiday, some smaller prizes. If you want to be entered to win for either or any of the other future giveaways here at the channel, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos live in the segment we've got here, so please make sure to stay safe and vigilant really on any platform, and if you should get a spam comment trying to convince you to pay for shipping for a prize, please remember, no content creator, myself included, will ever charge you for shipping. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me in a couple of places, Instagram and Twitter at @I'mFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. And while I sincerely appreciate you checking my music out, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.